Welcome back. And I don't know what I was going to say right there. I'm not as excited about this phone as I was about my Asus ZenFone 9, but this is still something that I wanted to buy and ended up doing so. And in case you can't see, which I don't know how clear everything's going to be for you, this is the Google Pixel 6. And you might say, well, I'm looking at, the video, I'm looking at when it was uploaded. I mean, the Pixel 7 comes out in about a month. Why would you buy this phone that's a year old? It's been plagued with issues. What's going on? Why would you make this purchase? And the honest answer is, I don't know. I got really excited about the Google Pixel 6a. And that came out, and I was going back and forth between Google's site and eBay, and then looking at what type of trade-in offers Google was having for that particular device. And I saw some really good ones, and I had a Pixel 4a, and mind you, when that phone was released, it was $350. Google was willing to give you $300 for a trade-in. So that would have been amazing. You get, $300 for that phone. So you end up paying $150 to get the 6A. But also, and this is if you pre-ordered, also for that $150, you got a pair of the Pixel Buds A or whatever they're called now. So that would have been amazing. And I was like, oh man, I just sold my Pixel 4a. I definitely would have traded it in for $100. Got the newer phone and another pair of Bluetooth buds. Would have been great. But I didn't do that because the Pixel 4a was already gone. I ended up buying a 6a, but I bought it from eBay. Good price. I mean, I forget how much it was, but it was around what the retail price was. I mean, it was a little, actually, no, it wasn't. It was, I think, a little over $300. No, yeah, it was about 380, I think. And then like the retail price was, I think it's 450. So I think I saved about $100, like after taxes and all that. If we looked at the two purchases next to each other. So I think I saved about $100 by buying used, which I again recommend that you do because there is a plethora of used devices available. But I will say, if you choose to buy new, that means you're one less person that I have to compete against when looking for something used. So yeah, if you want to buy new, by all means, go ahead. But again, I really do enjoy buying used stuff because you end up saving a lot of money. So that brings me here today to this guy right here. This is a Pixel 6, as I've already mentioned, and I bought this used. I don't want to say of course, but yeah, of course. And I ended up spending, I think, $330 after tax. So two something prior to tax. So that's roughly 50% of the cost of the phone when it was first announced / first released. And Google has had a few sales on their website, and when I look at stuff on eBay over the course of the last year, there have been some price fluctuations. I will say this hasn't been something that I was watching the entire time that it was that it's been out. But I would casually look, and the main reason I didn't want it is because I think the phone is just too big. I was talking about my ZenFone that I just got, and that's a 5.9 inch screen. This Galaxy S22 that I'm recording on is a 6.1 inch screen. The regular iPhone is 6.1 inches. My Sony Xperia is 6.1. But this Pixel, and in fact, before I say what this is, the Pixel 6a is also 6.1 inches. This is 6.4 inches. So definitely a bigger phone. And I can't say that I like big phones. I mean, when it's more compact, it's more pocketable. You can use it with one hand. It doesn't really feel like it's getting in the way. And you might be saying, well, I need a bigger screen to do all the stuff that I want to do on my phone. And I will say, you are right. You want a big phone to do a bunch of stuff, and you want to be able to see everything as clear and have as much content on the entire display and all that, blah, blah. I get it. You do. And that does make sense. But personally, I think if you really want to be productive, you need to just go find yourself a computer, okay? Find yourself a laptop. Heck, even if you have a tablet, fine, use a tablet. But to be productive, you need more than 7 inches, which at this point, I think one of the biggest screens are like 6.7 inches, like whatever the iPhone Pro Max is. And I think the Samsung Galaxy S22 Ultra, like whatever those larger screens, and there's some Motorola's that are pretty big too. But yeah, I want the phone, yes, to be multi-purpose. I do read email and send messages and of course, I'm on eBay and some other stuff. But at the end of the day, if I really need to be productive, then I end up going to a computer, or I should point that way since there's a laptop right there. So yeah, if I'm when I'm done with this video, move this out of the way, bring this over here, have my keyboard, have the laptop screen, which you can't see, but then also have a big monitor, which is right here. So yeah, I can be productive. But you're still like, well, why'd you buy this? And I don't know. I just wanted to see what it was like. I have owned all Pixels except for some of the A's. So yeah, I owned the first Pixel, and then I ended up sending it back. I had a Pixel 2 for a while. In fact, I still have a Pixel 2 over here. As I was saying, I still have a Pixel 2, and here it is right here. So yeah, a solid phone. I mean, I liked it. I ended up giving it to my dad for a couple of years because I had it, and then ended up just not using it. And I guess I didn't like it back then, and I've grown to like it for the reasons that I use it now. But yeah, it was a solid phone. I went and had the Pixel 3. Now that phone I had for a while. I thoroughly enjoyed my Pixel 3, and I wish I had it, but I ended up trying to swap motherboards, which I did successfully because it had 64 gigs of storage, and then I wanted 128. So I found a broken one on eBay, swapped the motherboards because the back glass on mine was broken, but the screen on the other one was broken. So I ended up swapping the two. It worked for a little bit, but then I saw that for some reason the camera just seemed off. Like, even though I didn't take a lot of pictures, the camera seemed off. So I wanted to take it back open and do some stuff. And at one point when I was taking it apart, I was rushing, and I ended up ripping a ribbon cable, the one for the proximity sensor. And at that point, the phone was still functional, but you put the phone to your face, it wouldn't go dark automatically. Auto brightness wasn't working. I feel like there might have been something else wrong with it too. But yeah, I ended up selling both of those, and that was fine. I had a Pixel 4 for a little bit, but I ended up giving that one to my dad when the Pixel 2 was reaching end of life. Had a 4A, as I mentioned. Had a 5 for a very brief, 2 days. It looked like a good phone, but I will say, looking online on eBay, it looks like that phone has a lot of problems because frequently there appear to have been a lot of display issues, like discoloring or just vertical or horizontal lines, mainly a lot of vertical lines. So I'm just like, that Pixel 5 just seems a little suspect. So I ended up not truly committing on that one. But then that brings us here to the 6s. So I've had now a 6A for a little while, and my dad currently has that model, and now I have a regular 6. And at this point, it's like, yeah, I'll probably get a 7 at some point. I mean, am I going to like it? I don't know. But yeah, in August or September of 2023, I might be like, oh yeah, I finally got the Pixel 7. You'll be like, what? The 8 is already out. I'm like, yeah, I know, but I got a 7. So, but that brings us back here today. So here's a Pixel 6. All right. And normally, yeah, I don't do these little unboxings. And in fact, I've already opened it. And this was a used model, so it's already been open. But one thing that, it's nice. I mean, you slide it on up. Nothing in the box, really. I think the smell that I'm always smelling are batteries. I think that's what those smells are. And, it's a nice little touch where they have, the screen face down. You have, the iconic, if you want to call it that, camera bar. It's not a bump, it's a full-blown bar. Could Google have done something different? Sure, they could have. Have millions of people already commented on it? Absolutely. Am I going to talk about it some? Probably. And then you have, this nice little pull tab to pull up the phones. That way you don't have to dig it out like with some phones. In the box, you have, the C to C cable, the little C to A adapter, which is nice. At some point, they're going to get rid of that because they're going to assume that whatever machine, whether it's a laptop or phone, definitely phone, but you won't need it because everything will be USB-C. Some documentation that I'm not going to read. And, yeah. Now, put that aside, turn this little guy over. There you go. Now, again, it was a used phone, so I wasn't the first person to do that. In fact, it wasn't even my first time doing it because I'd already opened the phone 3 minutes before I started this video. But I have not turned it on, so I will say that. I have not turned it on yet. But what I wanted to do is I wanted to do this little fake unboxing and then talk about a few of the specs before I actually start playing around with it because I'm going to go out there and watch some TV in a little bit. But already, in the hand, I was talking about the Zenfone. And one thing I liked about the Zenfone is, one, it's smaller. So here it is right here. So the Zenfone is smaller. And also, the back is plastic. So this feels Like it's textured, okay? I don't feel like I need to put this phone in the case. With this Pixel, can you hear anything? I can't. I mean, that's texture, that's glass, okay? So the back is glass, which for some people they say, oh, it's premium. Somebody has told you to believe that because the back of your phone is glass, you now have a premium device. And the only people I'd say who really would care enough to sell you those lies are the people making the phones, because when you drop it, it's not a cheap repair. Yeah, they'll say, well, with glass or whatever, you're able to get wireless charging. I don't care about that. Okay, I mean, some people do, but fundamentally, I'm not going to say it's flawed, but it seems like another gimmick. Like, yeah, it's. I guess it'd be cool to say, well, I'm just going to put my phone down and have it charge right there. Which, now that this thing is on an angle, does it even charge adequately? I don't know, because yeah, I mean, I don't know if you can see it, but it's sloping down this way. So even if you had, well, it does have wireless charging, but does it charge effectively? I don't know. But what does charge effectively and efficiently? Just plugging it in. Yeah, just and just put the phone down. And now what you can do while it's still charging, you can pick it up and you can do stuff with it. So wireless charging is a gimmick. But hey, if you like it, you like it. Whatever. Now, let me get to the specs real fast. Then I'm going to call it quits and I'm going to set up this phone and I'm going to enjoy it and then come back at some point and give you my thoughts and opinions. So 6.4 inch screen, as I said before, 8 gigabytes of RAM, the Google Tensor chip, a 4600 roughly milliamp hour battery. Cool. In terms of internal storage, you get 128 gigabytes of storage or you get 256. This guy should have 128. I'm sure it says it on the back somewhere, but I'll just turn it on in a little bit and see. It was released with Android 12. Android 13 has been released, so now when I turn it on, I can imagine that this phone probably has not been updated yet. So if it hasn't, then I will update to Android 13. I will say I do like doing those updates myself, so that's pretty cool. 90 hertz display, I'll probably just bump that down to 60 just to save on battery life, because it's really not that important to me. Like I'll make another video if I haven't already about it, but 120 hertz is important to me when I'm watching like action movies or just movies in general that haven't been compressed to out the wazoo. But yeah, so I'll probably turn this down to 60. Has stereo speakers, no headphone jack, Bluetooth 5.2. The fingerprint reader, which there's been some controversy with this particular device, under display. Okay, but I have mixed feelings about it. The Samsung that I'm currently recording on has an under or in display fingerprint reader, which I will say on this phone that I'm recording on, it is fast. Do I see a benefit to that over like a rear mounted fingerprint reader? No. So, and I feel like that, I just leave it at that. Like, no, I don't. So it's there, cool. But yeah, I don't see how that is any more beneficial to me, the consumer. Manufacturing cost, is it cheaper for the manufacturer to have it under display as opposed to on the back or in the power button? I don't know. But yeah, so I'm going to be testing that out a lot to see exactly how fast it is. And anything else that's notable on this? I don't think so. Wi-Fi 6E, if I didn't mention that. But yeah, I'm excited about it, okay? This is the charcoal color, I believe is what it's called. Not just gray, but yeah, charcoal. And yeah, I think the one thing I will never really talk about are cameras, because I'm not a huge camera guy. Like, if you saw what I took pictures of, it really is just, oh, I need to remind myself of something. Let me take a picture of it. Oh, I don't feel like writing something down. Let me take a picture of it. Oh, look at the neighborhood stray cats. Let me take a picture of them. So yeah, I'm not a camera guy, so I'm not going to waste your time talking about stuff that I have absolutely zero knowledge or real interest about. So I'm going to go wipe this down with some type of cleaning solution, because I literally just opened it and that box just felt so dirty, like ugh. And yeah, I'm gonna play around with it for a little bit. Until the next time.